Hi, today we will be organizing some new photo cards as well as redesigning some spreads with my newly made filler cards. There's a lot to do today because I decided I wanted to curate the photo card binder better. Even though I don't actively collect photo cards, they do come with the albums I buy, so I thought might as well try to design it the best way I can. So first things first though, we are gonna move everything to a slightly larger binder. Because of the way I want to curate this binder, it does require more space, so that's why we are going to have to move everything today. So here's a slightly larger binder. Okay, so I moved everything, and before we get into it though, let's go through some of the photo cards so we can sort it out. I finally got to buying the last In Ode album I was missing, which is the poet version. So very happy to have that. I hope I do this right. I always mention I don't know most of the names of my polls, so sometimes it's even hard for me to figure out where they go in terms of album. So as I mentioned before, I did design some new filler cards, and so the first thing we do before we redesign some of the spreads, we're gonna go through the ones that were missing some last time. So this one's done, and then I think we had these. Also, for the ones that were missing, I finally got the cards, so we can finally finish this area. So I didn't realize Hayes' Lyricist came with 2 cards, which means I'm just gonna keep 1 filler in there. Although I do really like the whole art direction of this album, and I might later on just create a full-on page just dedicated to this album, and you'll see what I mean when I say a full page dedicated to it, as we'll be doing that with some of the other photo cards today. Straighten those out later, and luckily Mayday also came in after waiting for 2 months, and so here we have the 1 photo card it came in with, as well as the filler I created for this album. Okay, so we finished that one, and then next let's do 17s. So last time, as you can see, I just put everything for an ode onto 1 page. Today though, we are going to be splitting them by album version, and I have all the fillers I need for them. That's not it. I have all the fillers I need for them. So we are going to start with Begin. Maybe we'll do it this way. may or may not change my mind about the placement of these later, but for now, this is what we'll have. Okay, actually I don't like this, so sorry about that. It looks okay in person, but on camera I definitely don't like the way it looks, so we are going to change it up. So the perks about not really actively collecting is since I only have a set number of cards, I can create spreads that have a lot of different fillers. Okay, so here we have for begin. This looks much better than what I had before. And so that took a while, but I think we know the formula now, so we'll move on to Poet. For Poet, these are my pulls. As usual, I pulled Somie, Uzi, and Dino. Actually, Poet was the one that I wanted to do a little bit differently. So, sorry about that. This might also take a while because there's some figuring out to do. A little bit of shuffling. Maybe something like this. I wanted to try one where we have two fillers connected, but I'm not actually sure how that will turn out. Okay, yeah, so we'll just do this for now. I'm not completely sold on it yet, but for the sake of time, let's keep it this way. And this time, as you can see, I learned from my past mistakes and I created enough tolerance for the fillers this time so that they go in much more smoothly. So here's for the Poet. It may or may not change in the future, we shall see. Moving along, we have Hope. It's really satisfying to see these spreads come to life. It looks much better than when I just crammed all the photo cards together. So here we have Hope, which is done, and then next version is Truth. So for truth, actually I forgot we had 5 cards. So I might have to remove a filler and figure out what to do with everything else. So we will just do this for now. I don't know if it'll look that great, but I'll decide afterwards if I want to keep it this way. Okay, so that's for truth, and then lastly we have the real version. So that's it for a node. We have begin, poet, hope, and truth and real. Moving along, hangout it. I still haven't decided what to do, although I think it's pretty straightforward. I just haven't gone to it yet. Vernon, over here, I did create fillers to fill in those empty spaces, just so he's not as lonely. So here's the album that this card came from. And I've been contemplating on buying more cards for the sake of creating spreads like I did for an ode, mostly because I really liked the art direction and the concept that they had for this album, but we shall see. Photo cards are not cheap. And moving forward, as I mentioned before, I did get more albums for Wavy's Awaken the World because some of them are damaged. So here's my cards for this one. And once again, I have a bit of a vision on what I want to do for it, but I haven't decided yet. So for now, we're going to put these in here, and then when I'm able to carry out my vision for the spread, we can go into designing it and putting it together. So I think that might be it. Actually, no, there's another one for Wavy. So we have this special card I got from Take Over the Moon. We'll stick this one in here for now. I really loved the art direction for this album as well, so I do want to create a cool spread with it. I just haven't gotten more cards from it yet, so we will keep him in here for now and decide on what to do with it later. And next is a lot of the new album cards I got, which will go in the miscellaneous section. So we can do the full pages first. The first one is Astro's Blue Flame album. One of the versions, I think it's the second version, I don't know the names of them. But one of the main reasons I got the album new is because I had this vision in mind to do a cool spread for them, because had really nice art direction. So here are the fillers and the cards. I might have to shuffle things around a bit. As you can see on some of the graphics, I took the lyrics that I liked from their song, their title track, and laid them out. Just so there's something relevant and a little bit more typography than just imagery. So I think we shall do this. I designed this so that the eye moves vertically down. I realized I wasn't a big fan of doing things horizontally, so here we have it. This is for Blue Flame. And then next up is New East's album Happily Ever After, the Q version. So once again, I put some other lyrics on a card. For this one, we have 2 cards. I think 3 may have been better for this one, but it is what it is. Alright, so here's for Happily Ever After. And I don't love the spread right now, so it may or may not change in the future, but I will not dwell on that at the second. So we are going to move on to So for the next spread, this one I didn't design it yet. I have an idea what I want to do. I don't really have all the cards I want for it. This one is NCT 127 Superhuman album. So I did purchase a hologram card. And the reason I'm doing a spread for this one is because I loved the design of this album. And so since the album only comes with 1 photo card and 1 circle card, I got another one to be able to create a better spread for it. I have another circle card coming in, but it's on its way right now in Japan. We'll just put the cards in here for now and do the design later. This card will move for sure once I design everything. Same thing with this Doya. Okay, so Superhuman spread will be designed later on. Let's move on to some new cards I got, which is from Dreamcatcher's Lose Myself. As much as I love the art direction of this album, I still haven't decided what to do with them yet. So we'll just put them in here for now and figure the design out later. Lastly, we have one New East photo card from their Waken album that I got. This one I won't be doing a full-on spread. We'll just give it its own column or row. Not sure if you noticed, so last time I had a bunch of G.E.M photo cards. I still haven't figured out how to design the spread yet. Definitely very gorgeous art directions and concepts in these albums. So I will have to decide on what I want to do with them. for now, we'll place them in here as I figure out the design. And so I believe that is it. So to recap what we got done, as always, and what we'll have to do, I procrastinated on the cover once again. It'll be done. I'll get it done for sure. Just not sure when. It's really simple. I'm just procrastinating on it. So, Awake in the World, I have to figure out what to do with it. I love the album concepts, and so I do want to do something cool, but it's one of those situations where because I love the concept so much, I'm almost afraid to design it in case I don't do it any justice, but that's something I'll have to overcome and get to for the next time. We have Take Over the Moon, another one whose concept I really liked, and I do plan on getting the album new so I can have more cards for it to be able to make a nicer spread. For 17, I separated the Ode albums by version and put together each spread with the fillers. Some of them may or may not change in the future depending on how I feel, but it's very satisfying to flip through these few spreads and see everything all filled out and finished. Hangare is something we'll have to take care of next time, and we gave Vernon some friends so he's not as lonely. Next is a miscellaneous section in which for Astro's Blue Flame I designed a spread for them, and we have New East Happily Ever After. For NCT 127 Superhuman, I'm waiting on a circle card, and then we can get into the design of it. Again, another art direction and just design I really liked, so I want to make it cool. And we have Dreamcatcher. Because the number of photo cards is kind of odd, I'll have to figure out a way to design it so that it's aesthetically pleasing. Next time we have single cards from new albums, we can put them in here. And G.E.M, I procrastinated on it as well, so we'll have to figure out what to do with all these spreads and how to make it more aesthetically pleasing so it's curated in a nice way. And we also filled in the filler cards that I was missing last time. So here's Baekhyun and XOSC's album. This one was done, this one was done, and luckily, finally, Haze's Lyricus came in and Victon's Mayday came in, so we were able to finish this one, as well as fill in Cheongmin's missing filler. So I believe that's all we had to do today. Thank you so much for watching. Even though in the beginning I never planned on doing anything with these photo cards, it's actually really fun to curate this binder and find a way to design it. It's a nice exercise for me as a designer. It's very simple, nothing complicated, but it's very satisfying when everything comes together, so I'm happy to be able to do this. And I don't know how many more photo cards I'll be getting because usually I only buy the albums if the art direction is really nice and I want to create a spread for it, or I can't find a pre-owned. So we shall see. With that, I will see you next video.